thank you all for making time again, as we say it every Wednesday, making time out of your schedules and then being here with us on what it seems to be. I don't know. I was just telling one of my colleagues the other day that somehow I feel like this week is like it's giving me spring vibes rather than fall vibes, just because all the rain that we're getting lately here. So it's been pretty cloudy and gray for the DC area. So hopefully, if you are in a different state, you're probably getting a better weather than we are here. But if not, then we gotta embrace it. I'm just debating whether or not what time I'm gonna take my fish for a walk, but it's very wet here in DC this last few days. So, but with that being said, I just wanted to throw a little joke on the side there. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with the introduction for the whole panel. Without any particular order, you guys already you all already heard his voice. He is the face of the credit union with their marketing department, Eddie Villanueva, who's going to be keeping track of all of the questions that are coming through the chat and Q&A. Also assisting Eddie, it's our very own Andrea Londono from the marketing department as well. We all have a saying, which I'm sure Andrea already stated not long ago, that it is our goal that we answer every question before we let you go. Before we end this webinar, our goal, not just our goal, but actually our commitment is to answer every question that you may have. So again, we do want to make it interactive. So if at any point you have any questions, feel free to submit those questions through the chat feature or the Q&A, and our commitment is to answer every question, and those questions are going to be read by Andrea and Carrie. Also, the person responsible for putting all of this beautiful content organic, all the graphics that you're seeing, it's our very own Carrie Lazar from the marketing department. She's actually behind the cameras today, but she will be running the presentation. But yeah, just so she is the one in charge of putting everything for us together. So we really, really thank you. And I see her moving the mouse. So Carrie, thank you so much for doing this for us. Also joining us today, we have two experts from the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. We have our VP of Consumer Lending, Angie Collier, who's going to be joining us. She will be here to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions that we might not know the answer to it, then Angie will be here to support us. Also joining Angie from the lending department as well, we have Kelly Basilio, who's our director. She will also be joining us on this webinar. So again, they will be here to answer any questions you may have. And last but not least, we have the main presenter of the evening, and it is none other than my very own colleague from the Membership Development Department, Kim Freely. So Kim, I know that I probably delayed this intro a little longer, but I just wanted to make sure we give you enough time to you're settled. I know you're traveling from Stanton, about a almost 4 hour drive, and we are really excited that you were able to join us and then come in and present for us this evening. So with that being said, Kim, let me not take the spotlight and then pass it right on to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Milton. Thank you, panelist team. We are going to dive right into safe car buying, protect yourself from auto scams. So let's get started. Bear with me just a second while I turn my video off. If somebody could just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me okay, I would greatly appreciate it. So here's a quick look in front of you at what we're going to be covering today. We're going to start by understanding the basics of car buying scams and just some common tactics you may encounter. Then we're going to dive into specific types of scams, such as fake listings, VIN, which is vehicle identification number, cloning, and more. So after that, we're going to go over some practical tips for you to protect yourself, including the benefits of pre-approval. We're also going to discuss what to do if you fall victim to a scam. And finally, I'm going to share some helpful resources to ensure a safe car buying experience. So, car buying scams, believe it or not, are becoming a lot more common. They're just completely designed to deceive buyers in various ways, whether it's through extracting money, stealing personal information, or it could even be both. So, whether it's through, let's say, extracting money or stealing personal information, or even both, these scams are really carefully structured. And if we don't know what we're looking for, what to watch for, it is so easy to fall victim. A car buying scam is really essentially a fraudulent scheme. It's aimed at tricking buyers during the vehicle purchasing process. And scammers have gotten a lot more tech savvy. They use deceptive tactics to steal from buyers, and they can target you at any stage of the car buying journey. So whether you're browsing online listings, which I'm sure most of us do when we're looking for a car, visiting a dealership in person, or even dealing with a private seller, someone who is selling their vehicle. No platform out there is immune to these scams. So, for instance, scams can range from fake vehicle listings, the car doesn't exist at all, to misleading financing offers. And the goal is always going to be the same: to extract money or sensitive personal information. And so today we're going to actually take a closer look at how these scams operate. I'm going to actually break down the most common elements of a car buying scam. And by understanding these schemes, you're going to be better equipped to spot any red flags and protect yourself. So it's awesome that you joined us this evening. So let's dive into these specifics. There's actually several common types of scams, each with its own set of tactics designed to take advantage of unsuspecting buyers. And we're going to break down these scams one by one so that you can recognize the warning signs and avoid falling into their traps. So let's start with one of the most common car buying scams, fake or misleading listings. You know, scammers are going to post pictures and descriptions of cars that have been copied from actually legitimate sites, legitimate ads, other websites. And these listings usually feature vehicles at prices that are significantly lower than market value. They're going to be much lower than the NADA or the Blue Book value. Something that catches your eye quickly and draws you in. But again, it's a red flag. So once a buyer expresses interest, the scammer ramps up the pressure by asking for a wire transfer or a deposit to hold the vehicle. But here's the catch: the car does not even actually exist. The moment the money is sent, the scammer completely vanishes, leaving the buyer with no car and no way to recover their funds. So here's some red flags to look for. The VIN, which is the vehicle identification number, it's usually missing from the ad. The seller pushes you to send money without ever letting you see the car in person. Another red flag. The price seems too good to be true. That is always a red flag. And the seller often avoids direct communication. They insist on digital communication like email. Sometimes the vehicle history report seems fake, or they won't provide it at all. And photos in the listing may also seem inconsistent or limited, and they often don't match the vehicle description. So you really have to read the fine print, make sure everything matches up when you're looking at vehicles online. And to protect yourself, you're going to always want to verify the VIN, the vehicle identification number, and never send money unless you've seen the car in person. One useful tool is the National Insurance Crime Bureau's VIN check, VIN check, available at nicb.org. And that allows you to check if the vehicle is reported as stolen or salvaged. Even if the vehicle exists, confirm that it's not stolen and that it has a clean vehicle history report before you ever proceed. Next, we're going to talk about phantom car sales. This is another really common and deceptive scam. In this case, the scammers list a car they don't actually own or even have access to. The listing looks completely legitimate and the price is often very attractive. Again, it's going to be a lower price than the value of the vehicle to catch your eye. Once they have your interest, they'll ask for payment up front, usually promising to ship the car to you. Again, huge red flag. The scammer typically claims they're in another location, perhaps they're out of state. Sometimes they even say that they're overseas. Again, another huge red flag. And they'll give excuses as to why you cannot see the car in person. After they receive the payment, if you actually send it, they again disappear, they vanish. Leaving you without a vehicle and with no way at all to track them down and get your money back. So here are a few red flags, again, to watch for. The seller claims they can't meet in person and insists on shipping the car to you. They provide no physical address or verifiable information about their identity. They ask for full payment upfront without offering any sort of signed agreement, purchase order, contract. The best way to protect yourself is to always insist on seeing that vehicle in person before you make any payment, down payment whatsoever. You know, if a seller refuses to meet or pushes for full payment upfront without proper documentation, it is a major warning sign. Just don't do it. Just move on to another vehicle. Now let's take a look at vehicle wire fraud. This actually happens more than you would think. This is another really dangerous scam that preys on unsuspecting car buyers. In this case, typically the scammers post used cars for sale on websites that appear to be legitimate websites. The listings often include detailed vehicle specifications, contact information, and again, the price is below the market value. The goal of the scammer is to entice you. It is to entice buyers to act quickly, thinking, oh my gosh, I got to jump on this right now because I'm getting a great deal. Once you expressed interest, the scammer is hot on your trail. They insist that you pay via wire transfer, claiming it's a secure and simple process. But here's the catch. Wire transfers are nearly impossible to reverse. Once you send that money, the scammer can withdraw it quickly and you'll have little to no chance of getting it back. So let's break down some of the common tactics used in the vehicle wire fraud scam. First of all, they post fake listings with used car prices below market value to draw you in. The listings are often very convincing with detailed specs and contact information to make the sale look like it is legitimate. But the key element is that they pressure you, they're going to pressure you, and that's a huge red flag, to use a wire transfer, knowing this method is hard to reverse. And here are a few other red flags to watch for. The seller insists that again, you send it by wire. And to protect yourself, you want to avoid using wire transfers when purchasing a vehicle. And while they are a fast way to send money, they really offer little to no fraud protection. Instead, you really want to opt for a more secure payment method like a credit card, which provides better safeguards and possibly the capability of reversing a fraudulent charge. Another widespread scam in the car buying world is actually escrow payment fraud. This type of scam, the scammers ask you to use a fake escrow service, and they promise you that your money will be held securely until the car is delivered. But in reality, once you transfer the funds, again, both the scammer and the car disappear. leaving you with no recourse whatsoever to find them or to get this resolved or to get your money back. And these scams, often look incredibly legitimate, with scammers even stealing images from real car dealers and posting phony vehicle listings online. They typically pose as private sellers, making the listing appear trustworthy, but it's all actually part of the con. And there are many variations of the escrow scam. Some scammers will claim they used trusted services like Yahoo, Motors, eBay payment agents, or even SquareTrade, companies that don't even offer escrow services for car transactions. And once you agree, you'll start receiving official looking emails. They actually have the logo, they have the payment instructions that appear to come from these companies. But these emails are absolutely fraudulent. They're not legitimate, and they're designed to trick you into wiring money through services like Western Union to a supposed payment agent. So what's the end game, you might ask? Once they have your money, again, they vanish, they disappear. And often they net thousands of dollars with minimal effort. This is why we want to make you aware and know what to look for. This actual scam, the escrow payment fraud scam, is so widespread that according to reports, a single ad can bring in over $50,000 for scammers in just 1 week. So here are some red flags to look for. Sellers who ask for payment through unconventional channels, such as wire transfers, gift cards, or cryptocurrency. Requests to use a third-party escrow service that seem familiar to you. Unfamiliar to you or even unreliable. A lack of a bill of sale or a purchase order. That's huge for these transactions, which should always be a major red flag. And how do you avoid this scam? First, never use cash wiring services like Western Union or MoneyGram for online purchases. These should only be used to send money to people you know and trust. As Craigslist warns, avoid scams and deal locally. That's a great way to keep yourself safe from these scams. Additionally, avoid any deal that requires escrow services, especially if the service seems unfamiliar, if a seller refuses to meet you in person, which again, that's a huge red flag, or gives you a story about being out of the country. Hey, I can't show you the car. I can't meet you in person because I'm actually out of the country right now. That's a huge red flag. That's a clear sign that something just is not right. So finally, if you come across a suspicious listing, report to the classified site and flag the ad as prohibited or spam. So next, let's talk about the classic bait and switch tactic. In this scam, a dealer will advertise a specific vehicle at a price that seems too good to pass up. It looks like a great deal, which we're all looking for that great deal. So you actually head to the dealership only to find out that the car you wanted is either suddenly unavailable or has just sold. So at this point, what the dealer does is they pivot. They try to push you into a different vehicle, one that's more expensive or has less favorable terms. They may pressure you to act quickly. Again, that's a huge red flag, making it seem like other deals are actually slipping away, making you think, I got to jump on this right now. This is a deal. I'm not going to find a deal like this again. It's all part of that bait and switch strategy designed to get you into the dealership with one offer and then sell you something else, something completely different. So here are the red flags to watch for. The vehicle you originally wanted is no longer available. But they're aggressively pushing you to other options, other vehicles. Then there's a sudden change in terms or pricing once you arrive at the dealership than what you saw, often less favorable than what was advertised. You feel pressured to act immediately, with salespeople warning you that if you don't make a decision now, you're going to miss out on this exclusive one-time deal. So to avoid falling victim to this tactic, the bait and switch tactic, always go in with a clear, you should do this anyways, always with a clear budget and a firm understanding of what you are looking for, and don't go outside of that. If you know exactly what you want, don't settle for something else. Don't be pressured into making, that hasty decision or accepting terms that weren't part of the original offer. If the deal changes suddenly or doesn't feel right, just walk away. Just completely walk away and take your time to explore other options. There are going to be other options out there for you. So now let's talk about payment packing. It's also known as the loaded payment scam. This actually occurs when a dealer inflates the monthly payment during the negotiation process by adding extra costs such as warranties, insurance, even higher interest rates without your knowledge. So the goal here is to have you to agree to a higher payment than necessary, allowing them to slip in additional products. So here's how the payment packing scam works. So before calculating your monthly payments, the dealer might raise the price of the vehicle, increase the interest rate, or add back in products like extended warranties or rust proofing. And this makes the monthly payment look much higher than it should be. They may also manipulate other factors like showing a lower trade-in value or even decreasing your down payment to inflate the loan balance. So now let's take a look at some of the red flags of payment packing. The monthly payment is higher than what you expected based on the price of the car, the actual loan term, and the interest rate. Unrequested extras like warranties or insurance are added without any explanation whatsoever to you. The dealer insists on negotiating based only on the monthly payment, avoiding discussions about the total loan amount or even the interest rate. You notice vague or confusing terms about why the payment is higher than expected. The loan term or the interest rate, they suddenly change after you've already agreed to a price. And finally, there's no itemized breakdown of costs, leaving you completely in the dark about what's included in the payment. So to avoid falling into this trap, never negotiate based solely on monthly payments. Instead, focus on the total cost of the car and ask for full disclosure of the sale price, the interest rate, and any added options that are going to cost you. And also, you might want to consider getting pre-approved for financing through your credit union to ensure you know your interest rate before you ever step into that dealership. By staying alert and asking the right questions, you can absolutely avoid paying for unnecessary extras and ensure that you're committing to what you have actually agreed upon. Another common tactic used by some dealerships is hitting buyers with a lot of unnecessary add-ons and hidden fees at the very last minute. Often during the contract signing stage, you might agree to a price early in the process, but when it's time to finalize the deal, you're suddenly faced with additional charges that were not discussed with you up front. Don't let these people intimidate you. Ask questions. And these add-ons can range from, like we said earlier, extended warranties, service plans, things that you never requested. And they're overpriced features and services, like vehicle identification number etching or rust proofing. What's worse is that these fees are often presented as mandatory, leaving many buyers feeling like they don't have a choice. You have to accept them. And that is not the case. So here are some red flags to watch for. Sudden changes in price or terms without any explanation at all. Fees that weren't disclosed to you earlier, such as a processing fee or documentation fee. Add-ons that you never requested, extended warranties, protection plans, suddenly included in the final payment. And now let's take a closer look at one of the more sneaky tactics, the dealer prep fee. So what exactly is the dealer prep fee? Essentially, it is a charge added by the dealership to cover the cost of coverings, checking fluids, installing components, and getting the car ready for delivery. And while this might sound reasonable, the reality is that many manufacturers have already compensated dealers for this prep work. They've already paid them for this. However, here's where it becomes a scam. Dealers will often overcharge for these routine services, sometimes asking for $500 to several thousand dollars when the actual prep work usually takes less than an hour. They disguise this as a dealer prep fee, vehicle prep fee, or make ready fee. You really have to look at that purchase order and really look at your itemized fees. And do not be afraid to ask. Do not say, no, I don't want that. In many cases, these fees are pre-printed on the purchase agreement, making it seem like it is a mandatory charge. And buyers often don't realize they can negotiate or absolutely refuse to pay these fees. So again, here are some red flags related to dealer prep fees. A higher fee for basic prep tasks, such as cleaning or fluid checks. The fee is pre-printed, already pre-printed on your contract, making it seem non-negotiable. So how do you avoid these hidden fees and add-ons? Refuse to pay them. Refuse to pay that dealer prep fee. If it's on the contract, ask the dealership to remove it, as the manufacturer already compensates them for this work. If they refuse to remove it, negotiate the vehicle price down to the same amount. That way the fee stays on the contract, but you're not actually paying for it. And most importantly, be prepared to walk away. You can walk out. If the dealership won't budge on the fee, take your business elsewhere and ask another dealer to match your price without the prep fee. And remember, if you finance these fees, they add to the total cost of your loan. For example, $595 dealer prep fee at 7% interest over 60 months would add about $12 to your monthly payment, costing you an extra $720 over the life of that loan. So ultimately, these add-ons and hidden fees can absolutely be avoided with careful attention and negotiation. You really have to go in knowing exactly what to look for on that purchase order. Always review the purchase agreement carefully and don't be afraid to challenge. You are the one, they're actually working for you. You're the one buying that automobile. So question any fees that do not seem correct to you. So another tactic scammers use is actually falsifying or tampering with the vehicle's history. So this scam is designed to hide significant issues like the car was in an accident, title problems, or major mechanical failures. Scammers may go as far as providing fake reports from trusted services like Carfax or AutoCheck, or even avoid giving you the VIN number altogether. So the goal here is to make you believe you're buying a clean, reliable vehicle when in reality, the car may have serious underlying problems. And here are some of the key red flags. First, the seller refuses or hesitates to provide the VIN number to you, which is a critical piece of information. You need to verify that car's history. And the only way that you can do that is by having that VIN number. Next, you might notice inconsistencies in the vehicle's mileage or the repair history, which could indicate tampering. And lastly, if the seller discourages you from doing an independent inspection of the vehicle, that's a major, major red flag. So always insist on verifying the VIN, checking the vehicle's history through reliable sources like Carfax or the National motor vehicle title information system. And if the seller is reluctant to provide the necessary information or tries to rush you through their process, again, take that as a sign and walk away, walk out of that dealership. Just a little extra diligence on your part can save you from costly repairs, or even worse, buying a vehicle with hidden legal fees. So let's talk a little bit about the sophisticated scam known as VIN, vehicle identification number, cloning, or vehicle identity theft. This actually occurs when criminals steal the VIN from a legally registered vehicle and use it to mask a stolen or salvaged vehicle. By placing the stolen VIN on a different car of the same make and model, the scammer makes the stolen vehicle appear legitimate. So here's how it works. Thieves target popular cars, often found in places like mall or grocery store parking lots. They will actually steal the vehicle, then go to the dealership in a neighboring state to find a car that matches the exact year, make, model, and even color of the one they just stole. Posing as shoppers, they'll copy the 17-digit VIN code from the legitimate car. This actually happened to my aunt who lives in Mississippi. She and my uncle, they went about 2 hours to go to a doctor's appointment, and she wanted to stop. I don't know if it was JCPenney at a store and get something. And she just parked outside. He was at the doctor's appointment. She ran in real quick. And when she came out, this lady was in her car just driving away. They never got that vehicle back. They never found out who stole that vehicle. So this scam is a huge challenge for law enforcement and has become one of the most lucrative methods for car theft rings. And thieves, they use advanced techniques. There's a lot of technology they can use, making it nearly impossible to trace that vehicle back to that original theft. And here are some red flags to look for VIN cloning. The VIN on the vehicle doesn't match the VIN on the registration or the title documents. The car's condition doesn't match its history, like a newer vehicle with wear and tear that doesn't fit the actual age of the vehicle. The seller is hesitant to provide the car's full VIN or allow you to inspect the vehicle's documentation thoroughly. So to avoid falling victim to VIN cloning, you're always going to want to verify that VIN number with trusted services like Carfax or the National Insurance Crime Bureau. Make sure the VIN on the car matches the one listed on the title and registration, and check for any suspicious gaps in the vehicle's registration history. And remember, buying a used car can be a great way to save money, but in today's environment, due diligence is absolutely critical. You have got to use due diligence. Never rely solely on a good deal or the word of a seller, unless, of course, you know them. They're a good family friend. They're, someone that you know. Take the time to fully inspect the vehicle's VIN and documentation to protect yourself from this growing threat. Now we're going to take a look at a scam called title washing. This tactic allows scammers to hide a vehicle's troubled past by washing its title. They'll take a car that's been branded as salvage, flood damage, severely wrecked, and they'll register it in a state with more lenient titling laws. And this process actually erases the negative branding from the title, and that gives the car a clean title. As a result, unsuspecting buyers may purchase a vehicle that's undergone serious repairs and even still has damage. So a car's title really can reveal a lot about its condition. Typically, you want to ensure the car you're buying has a clean title. Unfortunately, vehicles with clean titles are worth more. So scammers go to great lengths to acquire them, even if the car has had significant damage. And here's how this scam works. The scammer will get a hold of a salvaged vehicle and repair it, though often only enough to make it barely functional. And once the vehicle is fixed, they'll take it to a state and with laxer titling laws to get a clean title, which can then be used to sell the car as it is, even if it has issues. So this scam is dangerous for buyers because the car is likely to break down as soon as you buy it, as soon as you purchase it, leading to costly repairs or worse, leaving you completely stranded on the side of the road. And here are some red flags to watch for the title washing scam. The vehicle has titles from multiple states in a short period. The seller avoids or downplays questions about previous damage or repairs. You're unable to obtain a clear vehicle history from trusted sources. So how do you protect yourself from title washing? First, you're always going to want to check a car's title history using tools like a vehicle history report. If the car now has a clean title but previously had a salvage, junk, or rebuilt title, that's a major red flag. If the seller is unwilling to provide information to explain this, you're going to want to walk away. Second, get the vehicle inspected by a trusted mechanic, someone that you know. Even if the car appears to be in good condition, a professional inspection can often reveal subtle signs of hidden damage. And finally, contact your insurance company to check the vehicle's insurance record. In some cases, the insurer may be able to tell you if the car was ever declared a total loss or salvage. And so by taking these steps, you can avoid buying a title washed vehicle and protect yourself from future headaches. Now we're going to talk about curb stoning. This is a scam where dishonest independent sellers or unethical dealers pose as a private seller to avoid legal regulations. These sellers will often meet buyers in informal settings like an empty parking lot or alongside a curb, which is where the term curbsiding comes from. The goal of curbsiding is to sell damaged or problem vehicles while bypassing state and federal regulations designed to protect you, the consumer. Licensed dealers are required to follow certain rules, but unethical dealers posing as private sellers can avoid these protections and sell you a problematic car without going through the proper legal channels. In some cases, private sellers who sell multiple cars are required to obtain a dealer's license. However, many of these sellers will skip that step, of course, to duck costs or hide fraudulent activity. So let's take a look at some of the red flags for curb stoning. The seller insists on meeting you in a non-business setting. I mean, this day and time, that's just not even safe, such as a parking lot for curbside. The seller claims to be a private seller, but has multiple vehicles for sale. That's a huge red flag. That's very unusual for an individual. Or the car's history is vague and the seller avoids providing you the necessary documentation or that legal paperwork. The risk of curb stoning is that buyers can end up with a damaged or problematic car purchased from an unscrupulous seller who's operating outside the law. And to protect yourself, always meet the seller in a legitimate business setting. Check the car's paperwork thoroughly and avoid sellers who seem hesitant to provide you with clear documentation. Remember, regulations are in place to protect you as a buyer. And if a seller is trying to avoid those rules, that's a major warning sign, and you should absolutely walk away. So another common scam in the car buying process is loan fraud, which actually specifically targets the financing side of your purchase. In this scam, buyers are offered loans that come with hidden fees, inflated interest rates, or just unethical terms that can cost you significantly more than expected. In some cases, scammers even pose as legitimate lenders or brokers, offering financing deals that, again, seem too good to be true. So always remember, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. These deals often turn out to be completely fraudulent. And here's how loan fraud actually works. The scammer will lure you in with an appealing financing offer, sometimes even guaranteeing approval regardless of your credit score, your FICO score. They might then ask for upfront fees to secure that financing or provide vague, unclear loan terms that leave you unsure about the total cost. And here are some red flags to watch out for with loan fraud. You're offered a loan that's guaranteed regardless of your credit score. That's a major warning sign. The lender asks for upfront fees to secure the financing, which is typically not how legitimate loans work. The loan terms are vague or unclear, and the lender avoids giving you a clear breakdown of interest rates or total repayment accounts. And to protect yourself from loan fraud, just always work with reputable lenders like us, like your credit union. Read the loan terms carefully and avoid deals that seem too good to be true. Make sure you fully understand what your interest rate is, what your fees are, what the repayment terms are before agreeing to anything. And if something feels off or unclear, again, walk away. And before we wrap up tonight, I want to leave you with a reminder. While many scams we've discussed involve trying to steal your money, in some cases, the real goal is even more serious, and that is stealing your personal information. This is where phishing scams come in. Phishing scams often target you by creating fake websites or sending emails that look like they're from reputable dealerships or sellers. Those messages can seem completely legitimate, and they're designed to trick you into sharing sensitive information like your social security number, your financial institution details, or even login credentials. Fraudsters will send emails that ask you to click on links or enter your personal information, or they may even send fake invoices or payment requests. Their hope is that you'll fall for the urgency or official tone and unknowingly give them the keys to your personal information. So common phishing tactics include fake ads or emails that look like they're from trusted sources with links leading to fraudulent websites, urgent payment requests, sometimes offering a special deal if you act quickly. Once they have your info, they can commit identity theft, opening new accounts, making unauthorized purchases in your name. And here are some of the red flags to keep in mind. Emails or messages that have poor grammar or spelling, make sure you really look over those emails for grammar and spelling, even enough they appear official. Unsolicited payment requests or invoices from familiar or unverified sellers, and links that lead you to websites that don't quite match the dealership or platform's official URL. So here's the important reminder: always be cautious when sharing your personal information. We cannot stress this enough. Make sure the website is legitimate. Look for the HTTPS in the URL, and don't rush into providing sensitive details unless you're absolutely sure the seller is credible. So if you're going online and you're typing in a website or you're clicking on a link, make sure you look at that URL from beginning to end. There could be something in there that you're like, oh, no way. There's no way this is legitimate. So, scammers aren't just looking to take your money. They want your personal data too, and they can do serious damage if they get that. So stay vigilant, trust your instincts, always trust your gut. If something feels off, it's better to double check than it is to regret it later. So protecting yourself, protecting yourself from car buying scams. Now that we have covered the various types of auto scams and how they operate, let's shift our focus to what really matters: how to protect yourself. And the good news is that while these scams can be complex, there are several practical steps that you can take to safeguard your money and personal information. Whether you're buying from a dealership, whether you're buying online, or even through a private seller, knowing what to look for and staying informed really can make all the difference. And that's why we have provided this webinar this evening. So next, we're going to look at some key tips and strategies that can actually help you recognize the warning signs and avoid falling victim to these scams. So let's dive into how to protect yourself when buying a car. There are actually several practical steps that you can take to stay safe and throughout the entire process. First and foremost, always, always, always do your research. Whether you're buying from a dealership or a private seller, take the time to look into their background. Use trusted resources like Carfax to check the vehicle's history. This is going to help provide you with the understanding of any accidents that car may have been involved in, repairs, title issues. Be sure to know the fair market value of the car to avoid being overcharged. And next is always verify that VIN number. That's the vehicle identification number. Make sure it matches the title, the registration, and history report. A mismatched or missing VIN is a major red flag that something is definitely not right. So it's also essential to get everything in writing. Insist on clear written agreements, purchase orders, buyer's order that spell out all the terms. And never sign anything with vague or missing details, as this can leave you vulnerable to those hidden fees we talked about or unfavorable conditions. And when it comes to payment, always use secured payment methods like credit cards, verified platforms. Always, always, always avoid wire transfers or unconventional methods that offer little fraud protection. Another thing to watch for is pressure tactics. Scammers often create urgency. They're always going to pressure you to act quickly, to make your decision. Take your time. This is a big purchase. Ask questions. Don't hesitate to absolutely walk away if you feel pressured. Always inspect the car in person and test drive it before making any payment. If you can't meet the seller in person, be extra cautious about proceeding. And in addition to these tips, a few extra precautions can make a big difference. Get a vehicle history report to check for discrepancies between what that seller is telling you and the car's actual records. If the seller doesn't provide one, you can purchase it yourself from trusted providers like Carfax or AutoCheck, and get an inspection from a trusted mechanic. Even if the vehicle history looks good, a mechanic can spot issues, that are not immediately visible, and this can save you a lot of money down the road by pointing out problems that could affect the car's value or safety. And buy from a reputable dealer or seller. While private party sales can sometimes offer great deals, they also come with more risk. If something seems off, trust your instincts. Certified pre-owned vehicles from franchise dealers have undergone thorough inspection and are generally a safer bet. So just remember, if a dealer seems too good to be true, it probably is. Taking these steps can help you avoid scams and ensure you are making a smart, informed purchase. And lastly, the power of pre-approval. So pre-approve your financing through your trusted credit union, like the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. This ensures you know exactly what you can afford and helps you avoid inflated dealer rates or loan fraud. So let's talk about the specific benefits of getting pre-approved for your auto loan. First, leverage in negotiations. When you walk into a dealership with pre-approved financing, you have so much more power at the negotiation table. You truly do. Dealers know you already have a solid financing offer in hand, which often pushes them to offer better deals to compete. And second, pre-approval protects you from dealer financing markups. Like we talked about earlier, dealers sometimes mark up interest rates to make extra profit. By securing a loan through your credit union, you can avoid these inflated rates and compare the dealer's offer to ensure you're getting the best deal possible. And pre-approval also provides budget clarity. It gives you a clear idea of what you can afford with set loan terms, monthly payments, and the total loan amount. This helps you avoid overspending and ensures there are no surprises when it comes to your actual budget. Another key benefit is a faster, smoother purchase. With pre-approval, the buying process at the dealership becomes quicker since you can skip the wait for financing approval. This allows you to focus solely on negotiating the price of the car. And finally, pre-approval gives you confidence in your credit union. You'll know the loan terms up front, which eliminates the risk of being blindsided by high interest rates or hidden fees from dealer financing. This gives you the freedom to shop with peace of mind, knowing that your financing is already secured. So now that we've covered the importance of getting pre-approved and how it can protect you during your purchase, it's also essential to know what to do if things don't go as planned. Even with all the right precautions, scams, unfortunately, can still happen. If you find yourself in this situation, here's what you need to know about reporting the scam and take action quickly. First, stop all communication and payments. Cease contact with the scammer immediately and don't send any more money. If you have already provided payment information, contact your bank or credit union company to block any further transactions or charges and let them know exactly what happened. They can help you through that process. And next, you're going to want to report the scam. Absolutely start by contacting your local authorities. File a report with the police, especially if you believe you've been sold a stolen or fraudulently represented vehicle. You can also reach out to your state's attorney general's office, which often has resources for consumer protection. And also you can file and should file a complaint with the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC tracks fraudulent practices, including scams involving car sales. You can report the scam online or by calling 877-FTC-HELP. Your state's attorney general may also be able to assist. And for internet-related scams, you're going to report the fraud to the Internet Crime Complaint Center. The ICB is part of the FBI and handles cases involving online fraud. So finally, if the situation is serious and you've lost significant money, it's a good idea to get legal advice as well. You know, consult an attorney, get legal advice, get someone who specializes in consumer protection or automobile fraud. They can guide you on how to recover any lost funds and pursue legal action if necessary. By reporting the scam and seeking help, you not only protect yourself, but also help prevent others from falling victim to the same fraudulent practices. If your personal information has been compromised during a car buying scam, it's critical to act quickly to protect your identity and minimize potential danger and damage. First, notify the credit reporting agencies. That's Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. If your social security number or your financial institution details have actually been stolen, contact these bureaus to place a fraud alert or a credit freeze. And this is going to help prevent scammers from opening new accounts or taking out loans in your name. You can actually put that credit freeze, that fraud alert on your credit report before you ever have been in a situation where you may be scammed, and that would actually keep the scammer from being able to do anything further if they actually got your private information. Contact your bank or credit card company. You know, if you've made any payments through a credit or debit card, make sure you reach out to dispute the charge and inquire about a refund or chargeback. And for wire transfers, notify your bank right away and request an investigation into the fraudulent transactions. And by taking these steps, monitoring your credit report, freezing your accounts, setting up fraud alerts, you're going to greatly increase the chances of minimizing any financial loss and holding that scammer accountable. Now that we have covered how to protect and report the scam and the importance of securing pre-approval, let's talk about the next step for buying your car. You know, first, you're going to review your budget and financing options. If you haven't already, consider getting pre-approved for a loan through, of course, our credit union, your credit union, to ensure you have the best rate and terms before heading to the dealership. Next, you're going to want to research the vehicle. you want to purchase. Use trusted resources like Kelley Blue Book, Carfax, compare prices, check the vehicle's history, and understand its fair market value. And when you're ready, visit a reputable dealership or private seller. Be sure to inspect the car in person. Verify that vehicle identification number and ask for a vehicle history report before making any final decisions. And then finally, negotiate the deal confidently. Knowing that you've done your research, walk in there like you own that dealership, like you know exactly, you've been a loan officer for years. Just go in and act the part to secure your car and financing. Don't be afraid to walk away if something doesn't feel right or if the seller won't provide transparent information. Do not let them intimidate you. And if you follow these steps, you can make an informed, confident car purchase and drive away knowing you've made the right choice. When you're in the market for a car, you know, having the right tools and resources can make all the difference in protecting yourself from potential scams and ensuring a smart purchase. So let's go over some of the most valuable resources available for safe car buying. First, the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. You can visit vehiclehistory.gov to check the official title history of a vehicle. This tool actually helps you avoid buying cars with hidden issues like salvage titles, flood damage. That's National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. It's going to give you the history of that vehicle. Next, Carfax. By visiting carfax.com, you can actually obtain detailed vehicle history reports that include accident history, service records, ownership details. Carfax is essential in ensuring that the car you're interested in is reliable and has been properly maintained. Another great resource we wanted to give you is the National Insurance Crime Bureau. Head to nicb.org and use their VIN check tool to verify whether a vehicle has been reported stolen or involved in insurance fraud. This is a great way to protect yourself from accidentally buying a stolen vehicle. And for determining the fair market value of the vehicle, there's Kelley Blue Book. At kbb.com, you can check accurate market values for both new and used vehicles, making sure you're paying a fair price or getting a good deal on your trade-in. And finally, we have Edmunds. So Edmunds.com, you can access expert car reviews, price comparisons, advice on purchasing a vehicle. Edmunds is a trusted resource for comparing features, pricing, and making sure the car you choose fits your needs and budget. And using these resources can, again, provide you with what we all want, and that's peace of mind. And that you can buy the car with confidence. So at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union, we offer auto loans that give you the confidence to drive away in your dream car. Our loan features low rates, flexible terms ranging from 36 to 84 months, so you can find a plan that fits your budget and your financial goals. And with our credit union, there are no hidden fees or prepayment penalties. Everything is transparent, so there are no surprises when it comes to your loan terms. And for added peace of mind, we also offer pre-approval. This allows you to secure financing before you even start shopping, so you know exactly how much you can spend and can avoid dealer markups. And if you already have an auto loan, we provide refinancing options. You can refinance to lower your rate, reduce your monthly payments, or even shorten your loan term, giving you more control over your finances. So it's really easy to apply for an auto loan here at the credit union, and we give you the channel that you want, need, and deserve. You can apply online. You can visit a branch. You can call our 800 number and apply that way. Each one of these channels will give you excellent member service, and will provide you with all of the information you need to make sure you're financing the amount that you can afford. And it's really easy. It really is. 24/7 loan by phone, live assistance anytime. We totally understand that life doesn't fit into a 9-to-5 schedule, which is why we offer our 24 hour, 7 day a week loan by phone service, whether it's, after business hours on a weekend, which is typically when people are at a dealership purchasing a car, or even, during a busy work day. You can always get someone on the phone and get that assistance. And the best part is when you call, you're going to speak directly with knowledgeable lending professional experts, not an automated system. So our team, they are ready to provide, personal loan advice, guide you through your auto loan application whenever it is convenient for you. You're just going to dial 800-374-2758. You're going to select Lending Solutions to get started. You're going to be connected with a representative who can assist you through the entire process. They answer your questions. They help you secure the best loan for your needs. There's no waiting, no automated runaround. And so whenever you're ready to take the next step in your car buying journey, or if you want to refinance, we are here for you. 24/7. So that is the end of this presentation. Thank you guys so much for your time, your attention. I hope this information was helpful as you navigate the car buying process and protect yourself from potential scams. Who would have ever thought that we would be here having this type of webinar? But unfortunately, that's where we are in today's world. And we're not just here to make transactions for you. We are here to give you financial solutions, tips, so that you can be financially well. So thank you so much.
Hey, Kim. Thank you so much. That was an amazing, amazing presentation. So much great information that I'm pretty sure that that anyone can find helpful, especially if you're thinking about getting, like I stated at the beginning, if you're thinking about going in and test the market, if you're thinking about buying a new car or a used car, having all of this, what Kim covered in this presentation would be very, very helpful, and it can save you a lot of headaches down the road. So again, Kim, thank you, thank you, thank you. I seen the chat has been very interactive, Eddie and Andrea. Also, I see a lot of questions on the Q&A. So at this time, as we stated at the beginning, it is our commitment to answer every question live before we let you go. So hand it on over to Andrea and Eddie, and we can dive into the questions that we have this evening.
Thank you so much, Kim and Milton. So the first question is there an option on the USFCU website to check the maximum loan offer on a vehicle based on VIN? And does the USFCU provide any discount car history reports like the other financial institutions?
I'm hoping we have our subject matter experts on the line who can answer these questions.
Sure, thanks. So Kim, I'll take
Thanks,
it.
Angie.
By the way, Kim, great presentation.
Thank you.
To answer that question, in regards to on our website being able to tell you, I believe it was the amount based on the VIN. We do all our credit decisioning and limits on an actual full credit history profile. So there's nothing that's going to just be able to tell you what you would be approved for a maximum amount based on the VIN. And then the second question, I believe it was about a car report, like Carfax, whatever. We do not have a relationship specifically with Carfax that would give you a discount. I do know once you have submitted a used car, let's say application within our own loan origination system, we do have that ability to pull like a car history report. Hopefully that answers that question.
Thank you so much, Angie. Excellent. Great question. Great answer.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much for that amazing question and that amazing answer. And that's the reason why we have the subject matter experts, like Kim was saying, because they know it all about, auto loans. And we're so excited that each one of you are very interested, especially with these questions. And just to emphasize something that Kim was saying, looks can be deceiving, so please make sure that you do your due diligence, do your research, especially if, if the VIN number is available, check the history of that vehicle. With that being said, as a seller, is there a list of recommended escrow websites websites to use when dealing a transaction? Who will be the brave soul to answer that question?
So I believe, I think there were a couple mentioned within the presentation. Everyone's going to get that presentation. Angie, do you know of any recommended escrow websites right
No,
off the top of your head?
not at the
I
top
don't
of my
either.
head. I would
Yeah.
do your research on
Yeah.
that to make sure you find a
Agreed.
reputable one.
Thank you. Thank you.
So next question. It has been 10 days since I bought the car and I did not get a new loan document or documents from the dealership yet. Should I be concerned if I don't have the lender's info for this loan?
Thank you. And I am happy to take this one, and then if Angie wants to add anything, she can. But no, that is not unusual at all. And another great reason not to go with dealer financing. Always go with your trusted credit union. Because you have no idea who they're even going to put your financing through. But no, 10 days, hopefully you have your purchase order, you have your agreement, because if you finance with the dealer, they would have had you sign on the dotted line. And typically, 10 days, that is not uncommon at all.
All right, perfect. Thank you for giving our attendee that pick. That's nothing that's not the usual, something that happens, so thank you very much for that, Kim. And we love these questions because, believe it or not, you might think that as the attendee you're the only one learning, but here in the panelist team, I'm sure that I'm not the only one that's learning something new today. So thank you very much for these questions. We really appreciate them. With that being said, what are the standard or necessary fees associated with car buying? Usually dealers will try to add in extras such as warranties that can be declined, aside from car fees, sales tax, dealer fees, etc. Anything else that will be standard in the car buying process?
Hey, I can take on that one. I mean, based on from experience, the fees that everyone is going to pay regardless, is going to be taxes. That's going to be one thing that you can't get away. The other one is going to be the vehicle registration with the state. That's something that also is going to be standard. And then the other fee. Let me not forget tax and title. Those fees are going to be pretty standard. And the other one also is very standard for most. Unless you negotiate with the dealership, it's going to be the dealer fees or processor fee, what they call it. So those four fees are going to be very standard, just about all across the board, anywhere you go to. Those are the fees that you will see, and it's pretty normal. And now, once you start thinking about, or they start adding warranties or gaps, rim protection, I mean, you name it. The list can go on and on and on and on. But those first four items that I mentioned is pretty much just going to be the standard for just about every dealership. Again, tags, taxes, vehicle registration, and dealer processing fees.
So what you're telling me is that Uncle Sam gets to touch our money when buying a vehicle as well. Good to know. That's definitely good to know. Good old Uncle Sam. He's always getting to his taxes. But like Milton was saying, those are so important things that you need to keep in mind when buying a vehicle. Andrea?
So the next question is, I'm interested in refinancing my new auto loan. What is the best time frame to wait before applying to refinance obtain a good rate from the credit union?
That's another exciting question, Andrea. And again, I'll jump on that. And then Kim or Angie or Kelly wanna add, you guys are more than welcome. But if the reason for you to refinance your car is because of the interest rate that you receive, most likely you don't have you're probably still building your credit. So if that's the case, what is recommended is to wait at least 6 months. And the reason why we say 6 months, because that's going to push it right on the sweet spot. Having a 6 months of on-time payment history, what that's going to do to your credit is going to be a boost. So that most likely will have a significant increase to your credit. So again, it is important that you make your payments on time. Don't have any late payments, because that instead of helping you is actually going to hurt you. So again, the recommended time is at least 6 months. After 6 months of on-time payments, then you can talk to Aegis about any lender to explore the options of refinance. Now, if on the other end, if you already have an excellent credit, and at the time that you got your car loan, the rates were a little higher. And if you've been keeping up with the news lately, the Feds did announce a rate decrease, 50 basis points. So if you want to, see what can be out there for you available, what are the rates that you have available, then you don't have to wait those 6 months. You can actually, even if it's been less than 6 months, you can still reach out to us. I'm not sure if Carrie's able to put the number back on the screen, but feel free to give us a call, and then one of us will be more than happy to kind of explore and give you a ballpark numbers as to where the rates are that we currently have at the moment. Angie or Kim, I'm not sure if you guys want to add anything to that question.
I was just going to say that you can pretty much refinance your new vehicle once you know who it's financed with. We're going to need that payoff, who was on the title, in order to get that financial institution's lien off and our lien on that vehicle. And like we had someone already put in the chat, it's been 10 days since they bought the car. So typically, you're probably going to make that first payment. And then as long as you have all the information and we know who we are actually paying off and how to get our lien on your title, then we can absolutely look at refinancing it for you. Great question.
I also wanted to add, we are currently running a refinance promotion. So we are giving some cash back.
Yes.
Great minds think alike, because Angie just read my mind. I was going to say that as well. We have a great promotion going on when it comes down to refinancing your auto vehicle. Check the details in our website. As soon as you log into our website, usfccu.org, you will be able to see the promotion as well. Thank you very much for, mentioning that, Angie. We appreciate that a lot. Please take advantage. We're giving money left and right for new membership, refinancing your vehicle, referring your family. So please make sure you take this money because we want to make sure that as the member, you're taken care of. And then I believe that Carrie's putting the auto promo that we were just talking about refinancing, so you can see the details on the screen as well. Just make sure that when you're doing this, you use the promo code REFI200. So please make sure that you take advantage of all of the benefits that come with the membership from the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. Also, somebody just wanted to mention a couple comments people made before we go to the next question that Andrea has on her end, is that somebody was saying that they use a lot of most name brand dealers that are used for shopping in and around Nova, which is the Northern Virginia area, explicitly use these techniques like bait and switch, payment packing, add-ons, and inflated documentation fees. So this person never knew that these are categorized as scams. So as we were saying, do your due diligence, make sure that, the deal before you sign, it's, what you're looking for. And that's something that makes the United States Senate Federal Credit Union different from other financial institutions, is that we want to make sure that you ask all the questions before signing, any documents, any loans, whatever it is that you're doing. So same thing with these dealers, you just want to make sure that you know all the fees that are involved before you put that, its signature on those papers. So thank you very much for letting us know that, these dealers are using this type of, techniques. And also Mr. Ken, shout out to Mr. Ken. He's a loyal viewer of our weekly Wednesday webinars. He was telling us that if you buy a used car or truck, you can ask the dealer for a vehicle history report from the manufacturer. And most service departments will help you with this. So, the dealer, if they're interested to get your business, they should be able to help you. So please make sure that you ask the questions before you get into any deals. And Andrea, I know you have another question on your end.
Yes, I do. So is the gap insurance necessary if the trade-in value exceeds 20% value of new car? In other words, any suggestions on when gap is optional?
Hey, Andrea, that's another excellent question. Angie, you want to take it?
Yes, please. So my answer to that would be it really depends on the car because yes, it makes sense to use that 20% um, as a good rule of thumb, but some cars hold their value much more than other cars. You know, that Subaru, that Honda Accord, may really retain that value. So that 20% cushion makes sense. You don't really need the gap. Whereas a Kia, that 20% may be when you drive it off of the dealership lot, but it may not necessarily be 20%. It may be 90, 100%, you know, once you drive it off. So it really depends on the car. But I would also tell and advise, and this is a rule of thumb that I do when it comes to gap, is really look at the cost and the value. We were just talking about dealerships. Some dealerships charge an extremely crazy amount for gap. You know, we've seen $1,200, $1,000 for gap. The credit union, we're only going to charge you, I believe our fee is $300 for that total gap coverage, plus $1,000 extra if the car is on totaled. We'll give you $1,000 towards your next car. You know, so for you're looking at the value of the cost of that protection product, sometimes it's just a no-brainer. You know, for that additional investment of a couple of $100s, it's worth it to hedge that, to have that coverage, as opposed to paying $1,200 for that same coverage and maybe never using it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, absolutely, Angie. And if I may add also, Angie brought a great point, especially when you buy new cars. I mean, if there's an asset that is going to lose depreciation the minute that you drive it out of the lot, it's going to be a car. So again, be very mindful. And another thing too, and I also want to thank Carrie for highlighting the cost for how much you would pay if you were to buy Gap with us is only $399. But something else to keep in mind too, and it's also very important. If you do pay the 20% on payment, the goal of having a Gap is that it's so that if in the event of a total loss, you're not going to be on the hook for a car that is no longer drivable. And so that's the reason why you want to have Gap. But also know that even if you put 20% down payment, understand that the car is going to lose value with depreciation. But also another thing to keep in mind is that know how long are you financing. If you're going and getting an auto loan that it's only a 3-year and you have a 20% down payment, you probably are going to be safe. But if you're thinking about having lower monthly payments and then now you choose to go with a 7-year loan, a 72-month loan, then guess what? The fees that you're going to be added to your loan is going to add up, and that might take away some of the equity that you're building in the car. So again, Gap is to protect you in the event of a total loss. So if you want to have a car, even if you put a 20% down payment, but if you're financing the car for 7 years or even longer, having Gap is something that we will highly recommend, and especially again, as Angie stated. If you do finance it with us, you're only paying $399 for Gap, and it's a no-brainer. I mean, we will give you $1,000 towards the deductible that you'll be paying to your car insurance. So again, those will be the things that we definitely want to keep in mind when choosing whether or not to add Gap into your loan. So again, that was an excellent question. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much for all these questions that were asked and hopefully all answered. Please let me know if I'm missing any, Eddie.
No, you did great. Thank you, Andrea. You always cover the questions, so amazingly. And, the fact that, all these questions came up. And like I said, I'm learning a lot of new things this evening. So thank you very much. And our experts, Angie, you're amazing at what you do, and you have so much knowledge. So thank you very much for those answers. And also, when it comes down to Gap, I just wanted to mention that you might think that you're a good driver, but just keep in mind that sometimes it's the people around you. So it never hurts to pay this fee, because you never know what can happen. We hope that nothing bad happens happens. You just never know. Life is full of, surprises. So please make sure that you're, taking advantage of all the protections that the United States and the federal credit union have for you. And as we can see, there's a quote. It says gap insurance costs between $400 and $700 when purchased from a dealership. And sometimes, like Angie was emphasizing, it costs even more than $700. So we want to make sure that you take the best price that you can do. Like Kim was saying, at all-time low, $399 for our gap insurance. So please take advantage of that. With that being said, Milton, any last remarks before we tell everybody what's the next topic for next
Absolutely.
week?
No, I just wanted to say it again, pretty much, what you stated, Eddie. I just want to thank all the experts that came in today, Angie and Kelly. Thank you all so much for making time and being with us this evening. And to everyone that attended, thank you all again. As we stated at the beginning, we're going to send a copy of this presentation to everyone. Also be on the lookout. We do have this copy of this presentation that will be listed on, will be posted on our website. Also in our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and look at some of the topics that was covered on this presentation, please feel free to do so. Also, spread the word. Share this information with your friends, your neighbors, your family, regardless of where they are, and regardless if they have a membership with us. If they don't, this might be a great opportunity for you to take advantage. Also, the referral program that we have. So you get $50, they get $50 just for joining and becoming a member here with the credit union. And also a special thanks to Kim. I know Kim, she made a little bit of a sacrifice today, and we are really excited and thankful that she was able to present and did an amazing presentation. So Kim, thank you so much. Also, special thanks to everyone to make this possible. Thank you all again for being with us and being committed to assisting our members, and that is what we're all about here at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union. And before we go, again, just want to remind everyone that our topic for next week, it's actually in line with Financial Preparedness Month, which is all of the month of October, and we're going to talk about, is your financial house in order? That's a great question that we want to ask. Everyone should ask themselves. Is everything in order with your finances at home? So that is the topic for next week. We hope to see you next Wednesday, same time, 6 p.m. with the similar faces that you see here in this presentation or this panel. And that's all I have. So again, thank you all for being with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you back again next week. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening and see you again.